thumbnail for this. I'm gonna put Lauryn Hill. I'm gonna put Simply Red, and I'm gonna put let's see if we got Madonna, Simply Red. I'm gonna put Lauryn Hill, and I'm gonna put down George Michaels, and says, what have all these got in common? So guys, what have them artists have got in common? Let me tell you, they have in common a UK gospel musicians in their production.
Affinity Extra, be extra.
Right, hopefully you either listening into this right now here on Affinity Extra, or you are now watching this on YouTube. Now you're thinking, okay, Raj, like you've been doing this black music history. I just here to because there's no point having music. How can I say? Talking about we have gospel music and we support black music if we don't even know the history of our black music and how powerful it is, so we're actually running on fumes. So this is fuel for the fire, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have some fire today. So today, guys, you know, we're gonna touch into the impact now of which untold secret because of spirituality and because of Christianity, because we can't do secular, but the impact of our guys in the secular world. So let's go into this, man. We just say what we think. But bro, Kevin, you there, bro? Let me see if he's there.
I'm here.
Okay, so bro, like now, I just want to get this vibe right. The reality of the show is this, bro. The reason maybe why we don't really talk about the impact of UK gospel musicians in the secular world is because, let's be real, bro, the church wasn't backing it. Yeah, we couldn't play secular. We couldn't even play secular music in our houses. Yeah. Before we go into the impact in the secular world, bro, yeah, was that do you think that was a major stumbling block for a lot of musicians?
Yes, in most respects, yes, because there was no actual facility within the Christian community for them to actually make what I call a full-time career as such, because there was not a gospel industry compared to the American counterparts.
Okay. Yeah.
But what is also interesting about it as well, the musicians from the church who were working in the gospel industry, they were so good that the secular industry wanted them. It was a situation. And when I was reading earlier on, just refreshing myself with James Poyser in particular, who resides in Philadelphia and is a member of Roots, and you know his story. Mm-hmm. He said he developed his craft basically, or in actual fact, working in the church.
Yeah.
Well, both in Philadelphia and in the UK. In his father's church, and he's involved in conventions at the national level.
Come on now.
My cousin John Fisher actually mentioned about him, because you know that James Poyser actually received an Oscar this year for his contribution to a movie. So, but his roots, as I said, it was in the church.
So let's get that clear, guys. We've got a musician grew up in church in the UK in Leeds, who now lives in the Philadelphia cutting edge of music, and has just won an Oscar, and we're not saying nothing. There's nothing to say. I mean, it's crazy.
That's
you know what I'm saying? We should be going, yo, guys, listen, we have the talent. Yeah, we can achieve anything we want. Anyway, but let me just get there, because like I said, that amazes me how we keep this like it's like a, you know, when you have a child out of wedlock, bro. Yeah. And nobody needs to know about that child. It's almost like that sometimes with the musicians out there sometimes, and I do feel for them, because me, bro, I wasn't really I was not the guy to do secular. I wasn't really fascinated. I listened to secular music, but I wasn't really fascinated. My target was to grow the gospel industry. That was inside of me. Yeah. But you know, the actual show is that basically the church has not really backed these guys. You know what I mean? And the community hasn't. And at the same time, at to our own detriment, because now we've got ultimately nothing to show for ourselves, but they've got everything to show for it. That's crazy.
Yes, that's right. Now, for instance, when you look at James Poyser in particular, he has worked on Lauryn Hill's first studio album, which has done 10 million copies as of February the 21st this year. That's when it was certified.
I remember when that came out, bro.
It's diamond certification, and he actually worked as producer, and I think he did co-wrote some tracks as well. So in actual fact, and he also worked with Adele's last multi-platinum, which has sold nearly 20 million copies worldwide and almost 10 million in the US alone. So he very much is, and he's worked with Mary J. Blige, Jill Scott's first multi-platinum album. It was Jill Scott, I think the album was called. He worked with that, and it was done at Touch of Jazz Studio, which Jesse Jeffrem's studio at the time, where Will Smith did some stuff. So, in actual fact, if we look at Mr. James Poyser very careful, he's probably one of the most successful multi-instrumentalist and producer in the world.
So one second, bro. You said Jesse Jackson's studio.
Well, it's Jazzy Jeff.
Jazzy Jeff. Oh, so Jazzy Jeff was it Jesse Jackson? I was like, Jazzy Jeff studio. Okay, so you rolling with Jazzy Jeff then?
Yes.
Yo.
Yes. And he had a personal relationship and mentorship. He was mentored by Gambler Nuff.
So one second, the guys that we've been focusing on in Gamble and Huff now, the guys that we're producing ridiculous amount of tracks each day, and that massive focal point produced behind Teddy Pendergrass, guys, behind the Jones sisters, behind so many 3 Degrees. I don't know, album with 3 Degrees and all these guys. Yes.
They were
meant for it. There's mentoring James Poyser. Yo.
Yeah. And Jazzy Jeff. He mentored Jazzy Jeff as well. And Will Smith gets some counsel from Gambler Nuff. And also Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had some, talks. The Gambler Nuff is quite an incredible influence. We're talking about when we talk about James Poyser, we're talking about the post-Philly sound.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because we're going into the late 90s, and in the 21st century, where they're having hits with other artists as well. Good. So Philadelphia is still a center of influence. Because remember, with all that as well, with all that stuff, you have Justin Timberlake, who actually produced Cry Me River in Philly at the studio.
Okay, yeah.
So it's still a center of influence. And James, when it's about James Poyser in terms of English-born black composer and a multi-musician, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Remember, we haven't even talked about Nicky Brown with the film soundtrack for funerals, for weddings and a funeral. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that. So James Poyser, Now, and I think I have to say this. He grew up in Leeds. He's at New Testament Church.
It was actually Sheffield. I'm not sure where his the late Poyser, Reverend Poyser, actually passed it, but he is originally from Sheffield, so it's up north. So it's probably Leeds and so forth. And
okay, cool.
I don't know all the details, but he was very influential to many artists, like John Fisher, because John Fisher worked with him briefly, and John Fisher regarded him as one of the best creators in the business, which I do myself, and the thing with James Poyser, it's almost an untold secret. He just kept quiet. But this guy is a phenomenal British-born creator.
Yeah, of course.
Phenomenal. You think about it, working with some of the biggest selling albums in the world. The biggest selling albums in the world. I mean, several albums he's worked on have done 10 million copies in the States alone. Several. Hello.
Jeez. And the thing is, yeah, bro, that's a beautiful business model. I would love to, James Poyser, if I have to make sure I spell your name right, because I'm gonna do a shout out. We'd love to interview you. Just shout us out, man. We'd love to touch base with you in this fellowship, man. That'd be just absolutely crazy. I think
I tell you, I would love to have a session with him and just do some of the musical analysis and so forth. Because when you look at the numbers, I mean, that is the album where you did the earth. Good Lord.
It's absolutely crazy, and we need this wealth of knowledge, bro, because the next generation needs to love this, to build up off this. And this is why I shout out to some of these success stories, to not so much you don't physically have to be back in the communities, but to so back, just shout us out, man. A lot of them are probably not even hiding. They're just there, and I says, yo, shout me. You know what I mean?
By the way, don't forget, he worked with Kanye West as well.
Okay.
The brother is a very influential behind the scene person. He's a major power broker, creative power broker. Major.
No way. This is impressive, bro. Absolutely impressive.
And the thing is, Roger, I can't really count the numbers. The amount of credits and certification he's worked on. From the time he came on the scene, I've lost count now. Thought I knew it, but it's platinum here. I worked with this platinum. I mean, he's done platinum work on a platinum project with Nora Jones. And one of the tracks that he did with Lauryn Hill was number one in the contemporary charts.
Wow.
It's total nuts.
James Poyser.
If this whole program, it would take you, if you look at James Poyser, it'd take you several radio programs to really analyze the impact in terms of the decade. But remember, he's been working from the 90s,
This is what I'm saying to the 90s, right? And it's affecting right up to this very day.
Up to this very day.
If you're going to produce an album, bro, if you're going to say to somebody, if you just want to produce one album and step out, you would say that Lauryn Hill is done a classic, bro. Done one album and can live off that one album.
One album. Lauryn Hill does not need to even produce another album again.
She sources
the royalties from that alone globally. And remember, she's wrote most of the tracks, co-wrote or whatever.
And the thing is,
you thought about successful business model creatively, right?
Yeah, man, and she's done a bit of work. Yeah, and she's done a bit of work with Fugees and stuff like that still. Yeah, so with Wycliffe.
Remember, she's done writing projects and production with other people who had a success.
Bro, amazing.
She's a very unassuming sister. Very unassuming.
No, bro, that's absolutely crazy. And after again, bro, salute you for inspiring us, man. You know what I mean? Because it's inspiring to know that, you know what, yeah? Sometimes people get fixated like, oh, I'm not going to leave out the country. I'm stuck here. I'm this or that and whatever that's. So, yeah, but we have to show us, bro, that, we have to, realize that we can do more. We can get out if we just do things with excellence. It'd be just lovely. We're going to try and do some research into this, Kevin, and get Poyser onto the show, bro. And then spend a strong session. Strong session.
Some serious analysis with his brother, because he just, every time I research on him, I'm staggered. You're joking. I mean, it's when we're ready to write about Philly, Roger, when we write about Philly, that catalogue of documentary is big, because you got the pre-Philly period, you got the Philly period, and you got the post-Philly, which is still still impacting today.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Philly is known for a sound, bro. Like even when my hip hop loving days, still yeah. You can just hear, man. There's a Philly sound. There's a Philly sound to hip hop, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it had that whole retro. We call it retro now, but back then it had that really gritty. Had an element of soul in it, you know what I'm saying? You can hear the soul in it, you know, the live musicianship. You can hear it in there, that Philly sound of hip hop, man. Absolutely crazy. It's like for me, especially when it came to Christian hip hop, it was like the fulcrum of Christian hip hop East Coast sound. You know what I mean? The actual Philly sound was even stronger than the New York sound. Well, you know, more powerful.
Of course. Because remember, there was New Kids on the Block, which James Poyser really is tip of the iceberg, because there is several other production teams that come out that was influenced by Gambling Up. These youngsters grown up listening to Gambling Up and then decided to emulate them and Tom Bell and so forth. So there's another which such artists as Kirk Franklin has had experience with these guys. Andre Dodge and Andre and so forth. I mean, every one of those guys are serious practitioners. They're serious practitioners. They're not your average musicians. They're on the point of extreme excellence. You know,
average. That's a great. But bro, you know what amazes me, bro? Yeah, and I want guys. I always try to reflect to where we at now and where we've lost it, looking at the past. James Poyser has come out of church, hasn't refined his sound, obviously professionalized his sound, but is still recognized for me as it represents black music in terms of his sound. You could call it commerciality, but all the artists that majority of artists he works for, even if they're white, they have a black sound to them. And it's amazing how he has achieved so much working on black products, but yet the same of his peers that are still in church trying to produce that sound for Christianity are told that sound is not wanted, but yet in the secular world it's gold dust.
It's gold dust because
it makes it out, and this is what I want to re-emphasize to people with these conversations, Kevin, is that we have to be careful, right? We have to identify lies on our culture. We understand that, you know what, we're looking at the success of James Poyser to let us know, but hold on a second, you can go out in the secular world, sell millions, tens of millions of records, be part of that, but yet your counterparts who are still representing the sound within the church are told that is not quite the sound, that's not the sound that's popular, your sound, nobody wants it, but yet they're grooving it up when they're in the pub or the clubs. It's just amazing, bro. This is the lies that we need to break. That's just me, guys. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I just had to let that off. So James Poyser, bro. I think we need to be active in terms of doing some research to get that guy onto the show, and we need to set up some big time Zoom and just set that up of, even if it's 2:00 in the morning, bro. We do pre-record, and we just really.
When I get out, I'm going to get a new facility. And when I set it up, we can do any time round the clock. Don't worry about that. Once I get the new facility, we can actually do that.
We'll get some of these guys, bro, and get them on here, and we have great conversations and break it down, because I think it's really beautiful to hear success, because too often, bro, like I said, the youngsters, all they hear about is the modern rap, UK rap successes, which for me is no offense to rap out there, UK rap, some of the UK rap out there, which is beautiful for our community, but majority of it is negative for our community, and I do not want that defining success for my children to hear. So just putting it out there still anyway, but listen, bro, we touched on James Poyser. Now,
go on.
You mentioned at the beginning about a guy that we know about the Brown family, and I know about his brother Jerry Brown, He's an amazing drummer I saw years ago when I went to go concerts with my wife.
When you said Brown, which family you talk about?
Nicky Brown, the Browns. Nicky.
Oh, the Nicky Brown. Yes.
So now, but Nicky Brown now, I heard about him. You know what I mean? I seen about him, but I didn't really know what this guy was up to. Yeah. Now, can you kind of explain to everyone, Nicky Brown, what's this guy been up to, man?
Well, Nicky Brown actually was mentored by the late Linton Beckles, you know.
Okay.
Yes, and he was. Linton Beckles is really regarded as some of the key forefathers of British funk. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Which the British funk is actually full of musical tapestry that came from the church. You know, the Fritz McIntyre and so forth, and Elliot Brown, etc. That's why I said. When it comes to music, the English music, it's tip of the iceberg, because with Nicky Brown, let me just get some facts here. I'll just refer to my notes because there's a lot of things he's done.
Yeah.
He did a number one platinum album for Madonna, which he did some of the tracks. Yeah.
Hold on a second. Bro, talk to me again. Say that again. Once again, Nicky Brown produced for Madonna.
Yes, the album is called American Life. American Life, 2000. The track was Nothing Fails, platinum certified in the UK and in the US. Right? He actually co-produced the album. And on top of that, the LCGC was doing backings on it as well.
Ooh. So brother Lawrence Johnson was around there as well.
Well, Lawrence wasn't on it then. I think Lawrence had actually left by then.
Okay. Because I know he did a lot of vocal arrangements.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Also, Nicky Brown also worked on the album Free, 1991 for Ricky Astley. Backing vocals, he did backing vocals on side 2 with a lady by the name of Carol Henson. This Must Be Evan. The album also featured Andrew Crouch Choir on second track on side A called Cry for Help with string arrangements by Annie Dudley. The album was certified gold, of course, with the backing of LCGC. Right, so this is a lot of stuff that Nicky has done from the 90s, and of course with Madonna, 2003, you know, and then we could go further where he did the track 4 Weddings and a Funeral soundtrack, which was the best-selling soundtrack, one of the first best-selling soundtracks in the UK, globally as well. 1994.
I don't know how that film was successful, but yeah, go on. I didn't like the film, but that's amazing.
Yeah, and the track that You Colours did with Lawrence Johnson doing the backing vocals and Nicky producing the track, this Smoke Gets Into Your Eyes with You Colours, and the film itself, the movie itself, generated 245.7 million globally. One of the best-selling British movies and soundtrack, which did gold in Europe and across Europe it did platinum and gold in the UK. Platinum in the UK, actually. Yeah, that was one of the first albums that feature Nicky Brown as a producer of a movie soundtrack. Yeah, the movie soundtrack is
it's so right. That is right. Okay. And these guys, again, these are musicians that rub soldiers with, and they've done such a mighty, crazy work. And
That's right.
Wow. That's a Nicky Brown I need to hollow up, man. But we need to get, bro, when we get our hands on the guys, like I said, get this set up and we get them and we pounce on them.
Yeah. And the other album that he did during '94 as well, by Michael Ball, is one Careful Owner, which he did the arrangement. He did the arrangement on Leave a Light On for this album for the artist, and it was a gold certified in 1994. So in actual fact, during the 90s, Nicky Brown has worked on several platinum and gold certifications.
Jeez.
He's a very extremely successful, unassuming person. And remember, he's worked, this is interesting, he did a platinum certification in the UK and the US. Of course, from Madonna, but he did a platinum certification, or gold certification rather, playing keyboard on a Little Mix track called LM5, 2018 track. Track number 7, LM5, which is the title of the album. Track number 7, Love a Girl Right, which was gold certified in 2018. So right up to almost the end of the previous decade, our friend Nicky Brown has been active.
Go on, Nicky Brown. Okay, go on. I just thought, like I said, I don't really know much about him, but I just thought he's like a musician in church, MD, great MD and whatsoever. But obviously, he's a very successful guy off the field, as they would say. And
across the board, yes, he's highly regarded in the industry behind the scene. Eamon Lawrence and them worked on a lot of them. Hey, actually, this is another thing that interests you. Is a black gentleman called Wayne Xtra, who has written 30 number one singles, right? Black guy. He's worked with the numbers that, in particular, with Lawrence Johnson in terms of the vocal arrangement, they're talking about tens of millions of pounds in earnings. Lauryn Johnson is a separate subject. So let us look at Fritz McIntyre.
Okay, Fritz McIntyre. So guys, just wanted, if anyone's jumping in now, we've gone through is it James Poyser?
James Poyser. We did a summary
Nicky Brown
of Nicky Brown,
and then we're going to do
a
summary of Fritz McIntyre. Yeah. So guys, anyone who's listening and thinking, we can break this up in details. And what I'm gonna do, alongside my colleague Kevin, this is gonna be, my goodness sake, this is not a work for just today. This is a work for tomorrow as well. So we'll be digging in and going even more deeper into this. But this is just almost a pilot series that we're doing on Affinity Xtra to be fast and extra, and we're to celebrate gospel music about the Black origin, and we're here to also salute our soldiers in the field. Out in the field anyway. But listen, let's go back to it now. We're going to go into a guy called Fritz McIntyre, who I know a lot of people in the Midlands know. So go for it, brother.
Yes. Barris Dawkins. Elliot Brown, and all the brothers up north, like Trevor Prince and so on, know McIntyre.
Yeah, man.
He's part of that musical fraternity up north.
Yeah, man. She kind of singers and all the different things I did. Yeah.
Right, that's right. And his dad was a brilliant sax player, and his mother and father were good keyboardists, pianists as well. So he came from a traditionally musical family, but his dad was the former overseer of Newton Church of God at one time too. And he was a good friend of my dad. He's my dad contemporary, like S.U.
Okay.
I used to visit Fritz McIntyre's home, and he used to visit my home when his dad was district overseer in London.
Wow.
And we go back from the 60s, go way back actually. when it comes to Fritz McIntyre, I would call him a musical technocrat when it comes to the keyboard and pins. He's a brilliant vocalist, and he was from Manchester. And Elliot Brown, one day we need to interview him in particular. He's a history behind Eric. When Elliot Brown tells you about Joel Edwards, then you're going to blow your socks off. That's another different kettle of fish situation. Crazy. But anyhow, let us concentrate on Fritz McIntyre.
Yeah, man, go for it, bro. Go for it.
The first 4 albums by Simple Red, which Fritz McIntyre was involved in, all these albums, the 4 albums, the Picture Book, Men and Women, and New Flame, Stars, and Life, between 1985 up to 95, so 10 years in run, all these albums did in excess of 50 million copies worldwide, apparently. Last figure I actually obtained. And Fritz McIntyre co-wrote some of the tracks in them and the arrangement. And according to Burford, Fritz McIntyre was so good that he could actually tell that Fritz McIntyre keyboard style was on that track, the actual fabric.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
The figures are quite phenomenal, actually, because some of the albums, like for instance Stars, 1991, it sold over 3 million copies in the UK alone, actually.
Simply Red was massive, bro. Simply Red was stupidly massive in the 90s, bro. Like everybody, like there's a period for like 5-10 years, Simply Red could just go up just to say hello, and he's doing big productions.
Yeah,
crazy.
Right.
And imagine that the church, he had a fundamental sound from church.
Yeah, that's fundamental track. Yeah, and the thing about it, on the Stars album, 1991, which did 12-time platinum in the UK, which represents 3 million copies, Fritz McIntyre co-wrote tracks on this major hit album, such as Something, Got Me Started, and Thrill Me. There's 2 tracks on it that he co-wrote. Can you imagine the royalties on that one? Okay, and then
get some of that.
let's go back to A New Flame, 1989. That sold 2 million copies in the UK alone, right?
My goodness sake.
And then let's go forward a bit.
We can't even sell 1,000 records in the UK in gospel.
Yeah, the album also sold the Star album also sold 3 million copies across Europe, according to the International Federation of Phonographic Industry, IFPI. The phonographic industry is the international body which is based in London, which gives an overall view of the industry globally, and it also monitors the platinum hits in Europe. It says, listen to this, the last album that Fritz McIntyre appeared on, which was Live, that's the name of the album, Live. The album did 5 times platinum, got 1.5 million copies in the UK alone, right? And 3 million copies was sold across Europe. And it was a number 1 UK album for 3 weeks. Matter of fact, three albums that Fritz McIntyre was involved in went number 1 in the UK. Some of them for 12 weeks, some of them for 7 weeks. I mean, some of them. Look, his musical DNA was just all around it. Since he left, Simple Red hasn't done those kind of level of sales.
Okay. But bro,
you got me.
As a piece of work to be part of, man, I wouldn't mind, being part of a piece of work like that. And I have to, guys, if you're thinking, okay, why are you mentioning this? And I have to reiterate, it is UK musicians that had to sneak out the back of church and not tell no one what they're doing, but yet they'll be doing amazing works out there, delivering amazing music. You know what I mean? And maybe a question we need to ask these guys. What I know that a lot of the producers who were out doing secular work wouldn't say no to doing work with gospel. They wanted to do that, but it'll be interesting to see what was the trouble. Why didn't this happen more? If you know what I mean, bro. As I learned the craft out there, maybe the disconnect with the church. I don't know, but we wanna.
It has to do with how the industry is structured, and is it willing to invest in
great piece of work?
Yes, it is called what you call it's called repertoire development, and are you willing to invest? I mean, they've just started since 2013 the UK gospel charts. Big question is how many of our black brothers and sisters have really been represented in the UK? Most of the number ones, there's only one artist that had number one on the UK charts, and it was Governor. And the other black artists that went number one, they are of course the US sort of staple, and so
that's great. That's crazy.
Yeah, but in terms of actually looking in the secular industry, this is where our brothers and sisters really contribute in tremendous numbers. Look, for instance, let's just look at Luke Smith.
Okay, right. We're gonna round off with Luke Smith. Yeah. So yeah, bro. Let's open up Luke Smith and his Pandora's box, man.
Okay.
Hey, music geek. Anyway, sorry.
Luke Smith was the musical director for George Michael, the late George Michael.
Hold on a second. George Michael, who did that track with Mary J. Blige. You get me? So that track that sounded like you're straight from church.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to talk about Parks.
Several of the albums in particular, especially 25, 2006.
Wow.
It was European Platinum certified. And Patience 2004 was UK multi-platinum certified. Right? Symphonica, a gold album 2014. All these represent our dear friend Luke Smith as on production and so forth, right? And remember, he was the music director for George Michael. George Michael could not do without him. He had to be there in the center of things. Right up to the time.
My gosh, serious. So I'm smiling so hard because I know his sister quite well. You know, when it is like, I am not worthy for going around your aura. George Michael, no way, crazy. But I know he's been involved with a number of other stuff as well, bro.
Yes, he's been involved in a lot of things. We do, as I said, it's just the tip of the iceberg, really. And we basically ended it there, really. So
he also produced for the artist. You know that artist. She a white young lady. She had a she died. I can't believe.
Why?
Wait, Amy Winehouse. Yes. He produced that
album. Yes, he did that. Yes.
Absolutely crazy. Like, and you know what? And I'm sure I've never met Luke in my entire life. I speak to musicians that all met him. It's like, yeah, man, Luke. He was talented. He was another level. But the thing is, it just seems like a guy that would just say hello. You know what I mean? These guys are normal, cool guys.
Luke is when you see him, he's very unassuming. Most of them don't need to put on any act
Yeah.
because they're so brilliant till they look simple in one sense, but yeah, when you get in the studio, they're like technocrats. It's like witnessing Philly Fillingate, Greg Fillingate, who is I treat Luke Smith at the same level with him, and Fritz McIntyre. They're literally keyboard technocrats. They're wizards.
Jeez, man,
they're just
absolutely.
wizards, and they're all from the church. Need I say more?
Ooh. So, bro, I know we're gonna kind of round up in a bit, man, bro. But let me I'm gonna try and summarize this the beautiful way I can. So you got James Poyser, who is now based in Philadelphia. Yeah. Hopefully still based in the US and whatsoever, doing amazing works, being mentored by Gamble and Huff. Yeah, that is us taking it. That's crazy. We got Nicky Brown, and don't forget he was involved with Lauryn Hill's album. The album that you're allowed to do one album and walk away from the industry. That's what Lauryn Hill did. He was involved in that. He could have walked away from the industry himself probably. But listen, he was involved in that product. Also, he was involved with artists like Adele and different artists in the future, helping and supporting out their products. You've got Nicky Brown, who you can't believe it. And I know someone mentioned it before, but he's worked with Madonna. Like, that's just madness. A number of other artists out there and being involved, and you broke that down. You've got Nicky Brown. You've got we talked about Luke Smith. Obviously, yeah, we just talked about Luke Smith. Who did you speak about afterwards? Oh my gosh, who is that, bro?
Fritz McIntyre.
Fritz McIntyre with Simply Red. So I just know how I'm gonna do the thumbnail for this. I'm gonna put Lauryn Hill. I'm gonna put Simply Red, and I'm gonna put let's see if we got Madonna, Simply Red. I'm gonna put Lauryn Hill, and I'm gonna put down George Michaels, and says, what have all these got in common? So guys, what have them artists have got in common? Let me tell you, they have in common a UK gospel musicians in their production. That's crazy, bro. That's exciting. That's absolutely amazing, man. Bro, I again, absolutely thank you for the time that you spend with us. We just hook up and we just have conversations. And guys, I just want to reiterate, we just have these conversations because we could easily talk on the phone, bro, until we blew in the face, and then nobody gets blessed apart from ourselves. You know what I mean? And we want to go beyond that. So we're having conversations that myself and Kevin would just talk about, and I'd be like, wow. But we're bringing everybody in. And in this pilot series, and I say pilot because you're going to see some amazing stuff coming out in the next year or two. You got Kevin's book that's already out. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be working on, hopefully with Kevin, some other crazy stuff visually as well. But Kevin, just give it a little insight into your book, bro, before we come off.
Right. The book is part of the Icon series, and we're on the second one now, which is the Memphis of Icons of Memphis, that deals with the Al Green, Otis Redding, and Isaac Hayes, and all the production team that was part of that music community in Memphis. Of course, I do talk about the impact of black music on Elvis Presley when he was there, as well. And all the key, the Memphis horns, which was one of the greatest successful horn sections in the world, which was co-founded by a black guy and white guy.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah. Unity, bro. Unity. It's more than possible, bro. Way more than possible.
And another thing too about when at one time the Memphis music industry was doing $30 to $40 million per year growth. It was serious, and it was the fourth major music market in the US at one time.
Wow. Memphis, Tennessee, guys. That's Memphis, Tennessee. That's crazy, bro. Listen, guys, do check it out. I'm gonna start. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna backtrack. I know I've been meaning to do it, but I've just been moving studios. So hopefully this week I'll be catching up me administratively, and I'll be making sure that I put all the links for Kevin's books in the descriptions. Guys, do check it out. And do hit us up at Affinity Extra. We're here to celebrate gospel music of black origin, and then also we're here to celebrate black excellence. And that's what we're doing right now, celebrating black excellence, man. By us.
Yeah.
For the world, man. You know what I'm saying? So, Kevin, sorry, what was that, bro?
I said for the world. I totally agree with you. It is for the world.
This
Musical black origin and its excellence and its impact.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, bro. But listen, guys, we're gonna close off this interview right now, and I'm gonna play some nice, cool, calm, relaxing music to come out of this. Kevin, thanks again for your time and effort. And bro, we'll get this video out, man. I'm gonna have fun with this title, bro. I'm gonna get them images straight away, bro. I'm gonna get excited with this film now, because I'm gonna get people looking into it and get a little teaser title, man. Yeah. But listen, Kevin, thanks again, guys. Like, subscribe, do what you gotta do to this video if you watching on YouTube, and if you're just listening in sensation, follow us on YouTube. You get this back, send it on to your friends, share the news. You know what I'm saying? And any musicians that bump into this that you're thinking, hey, that's me, talk to us, man. Let's do a good, great conversation with you, man. Want to break this down, man? Yeah. But listen, bro. Thanks again, and we'll kick off our next track by Eva McKinney called "Do It Again." Thanks again, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. Peace and love, brother.
Blessings, man. Blessings, man. Enough love.
Visit us for updates and shows at affinityextra.co.uk.